The courtroom was so quiet that even the ticking wall clock sounded loud. Everyone was watching one man, Paul Okorie. He sat in a sharp navy blue suit, gold watch shining on his wrist, face calm like nothing could touch him. Cameras had flashed outside when he walked in. Reporters whispered his name like a headline. One of the richest men in Lagos, a powerful businessman, a man used to getting his way. Now he sat on one side of the courtroom, beside his lawyers. On the other side sat Anna. She wore a simple cream blouse and a long skirt. Her hair was packed back neatly. Her hands were shaking, but she held them together in her lap. Next to her was a small boy in a white shirt and black trousers. Her 7-year-old son, Kamsi. Her whole world. The judge pushed up her glasses and looked over the file in front of her. This is case number 204, Okorie Paul versus Anna Nwokolo for full custody of the minor child, Kamsi Okorie. The words felt heavy in the air. Anna swallowed hard. Her eyes were already wet. How did we get here, she thought. How did the man who once held my face and called me his whole world drag me to court to take my child away? Paul leaned toward his lawyer and whispered something with a small smile. He did not look at Anna, not once. The judge turned to Paul's side. Counsel, you may continue. Paul's lawyer, a tall man with a sharp voice, stood up and walked to the center. He straightened his tie, then pointed his file at Anna like she was a problem, not a person. My lord, and he began, we have come here today to protect this child from a dangerous environment. Anna's heart dropped. Dangerous, she thought. My tiny one-bedroom flat? My late-night sewing to pay school fees? My cooking on a small stove? Is that what he calls dangerous? The lawyer went on. We will show that Miss Anna Nwokolo is not fit to care for this child. She lives in poor conditions. She works long hours and worse. He paused, letting the silence grow heavy. People in the courtroom leaned forward. A few journalists raised their pens. The lawyer's next words cut through Anna like a knife. She takes harmful drugs. The room exploded in whispers. What? Did he say drugs? A single mother on drugs? Anna's mouth opened, but no sound came out. Her heart started beating so fast she felt like she could not breathe. It was a lie. A terrible, ugly lie. She had never taken any drugs. She barely even took painkillers when she was sick. She had spent years fighting sleep just to sew clothes through the night so she could feed her child. And now the father who abandoned them was calling her a drug user in front of strangers. The judge banged her gavel. Order! Order in court! The whispers died down slowly. The lawyer continued, acting like nothing was wrong. My lord, we have witnesses who will testify that she behaves recklessly and puts this child at risk. We have evidence that she is not stable enough to provide a safe home. Meanwhile, my client, Mr. Paul Okorie, can provide a proper house, a driver, nurses, the best schools. Anna could not hold it in anymore. That's not true, she said, her voice shaky but clear. My lord, that is not true. I don't take anything. I have never. Her own lawyer gently touched her arm. Calm down, Anna. I will speak for you, he whispered. But it was too late. Tears rolled down her cheeks. She felt small, exposed, like the whole world was staring at her shame. On the other side, Paul sat still, eyes fixed on the judge, not on her. His face looked calm, even bored. Only someone who knew him well would see the tiny curve of pride at the edge of his lips. He was winning. He was always winning. The judge looked from the file to Anna, then to Paul, then to little Kamsi, who now held his mother's arm tightly. Miss Anna, the judge said, you will have your chance to respond. For now, please stay calm. But inside, Anna was breaking. Harmful drugs, unfit mother, dangerous. She remembered the nights she had gone to bed hungry so her son could eat, the times she had used her last money to buy his school books, the days she had walked in the hot sun with fabrics on her head to deliver dresses to customers just to pay their rent. How could he do this to me, she thought. How could the man who once said he loved me stand here and lie to take my child away? The judge turned back to Paul's lawyer. Do you have anything else for now? Yes, my lord, he replied. We also request that the child be moved to Mr. Okorie's home immediately for his safety while the case continues. Anna's body went cold. Immediately, they wanted to take Kamsi today. Her fingers tightened around her son's small hand. He looked up at her, confused, his big brown eyes shining with worry. "Mummy, what are they saying?" he whispered. She forced a smile that did not reach her eyes. "It's okay, baby. I'm here." But she did not feel okay at all. Her lawyer stood up quickly. "My lord, we strongly object. There is no proof of these claims. Removing the child now will cause unnecessary trauma." "We will bring proof," Paul's lawyer cut in. "We have a neighbor who will testify to strange behavior." "We have," Anna's lawyer raised his voice. "My lord, my client is a responsible mother. She has no criminal record, no history of drug use, and—" The judge held up her hand. "Enough. I have heard both sides." The whole courtroom went quiet again. Even the ticking clock seemed to stop. The judge leaned back in her chair, thinking. Then she looked at the small boy beside Anna. "Kamsi," she said softly, "can you stand up for a moment?" He blinked. Everyone turned to look at him, his small fingers still held tightly to his mother's. Anna felt her heart jump. She knew this might happen, but she was not ready. How can a 7-year-old carry so much weight? Slowly, Kamsi stood up, his knees shaking a little. "I will not force him to talk," the judge said, "but I would like to know something very simple." Anna's lips trembled. Her whole body was tense. On the other side, for the first time that day, Paul shifted in his seat. The judge looked straight at the boy. "Kamsi," she asked gently, "do you feel safe with your mother?" The question hung in the air like a held breath. Everyone was waiting. Reporters leaned forward. Paul's lawyer smiled with fake calm. Anna's hands squeezed together so tightly that her knuckles turned white. Kamsi looked at the judge. Then he looked at his mother, her wet eyes, her shaking shoulders. The woman who had held him when he was sick, who had tied his shoelaces, who had stayed up all night sewing clothes while humming softly so he could sleep. He opened his mouth to speak, and in that single second, before his first word came out, everything in that courtroom and in their lives was about to change. Kamsi's lips parted, but the sound that came out was thin and shaky. "Yes, I feel safe with my mummy." The courtroom froze. His small voice wasn't loud, but it carried the weight of truth. The judge leaned forward, listening with full attention. Anna held her breath. Even Paul stopped moving, the calm mask on his face showing the first tiny crack. The judge spoke gently. "Can you tell me why, Kamsi?" Kamsi swallowed hard. He looked at everyone staring at him, then turned toward his mother again. He held her hand, squeezed it, and drew in a deep breath, like a child trying to be brave in front of a storm. "Because she takes care of me," he said. "She makes my food. She helps me with my homework. She reads me stories. And when I'm sick, she stays awake all night. She never leaves me." His voice trembled on the last words. A soft wave of murmurs moved through the courtroom. Even people who came to record drama felt a tug in their hearts. The judge nodded slowly. "Thank you, Kamsi. You may sit." Anna carefully guided him back into his seat. She brushed a thumb over his cheek, whispering, "You did so well, baby." But the story wasn't finished, not even close. The judge turned to Anna. "Miss Nwokolo, do you have evidence to support your lawyer's claim that you do not use harmful drugs?" Anna's lawyer stood. "Yes, my lord. We have recent medical tests from a certified hospital proving she is clean. We also have her employer, Mrs. Aluko, present to testify about her behavior at work." The judge nodded. "Call her." At that moment, the courtroom door opened, and a tall woman in her 50s walked in. She wore a bright blue gale and a matching lace blouse. Her presence turned heads. Mrs. Aluko, respected businesswoman, known for strictness, known for honesty. She walked straight to the witness stand like she owned the place. "Raise your right hand," the court clerk said. She did. "Do you swear to tell the truth?" "I swear," she said firmly. Anna's lawyer stepped forward. "Madam, how long have you known my client?" "For 5 years," she replied. "And how would you describe her behavior?" "Anna," she smiled. "She is one of the kindest and most hardworking people I know. She comes early, she respects everybody, and she takes her job seriously." The lawyer nodded. "Have you ever seen her use any harmful drugs?" Mrs. Aluko's eyes widened like she had been insulted. Never, she snapped. Anna, harmful drugs? My lord, that girl won't even take malaria medicine unless she's shaking like a leaf. She is clean, very clean. People in the courtroom chuckled softly. Even the judge relaxed a little. Then came the question that shifted everything. Do you believe she is a responsible mother? Mrs. Aluko placed a hand on her chest. My lord, that child is her whole world. I have seen her come to work tired because she spent the night caring for him when he was sick. I have seen her walk home under the hot sun just to save transport money for him. She has never put that boy in danger. Anna covered her mouth as silent tears fell. Her truth was finally being spoken. The lawyer nodded. Thank you. No further questions. Paul's lawyer stood. Madam, you said you have known her for 5 years. Are you with her every hour of every day? No, she replied calmly. So it is possible she uses harmful substances without your knowledge. Mrs. Aluko raised one eyebrow slowly. My lord, she said, turning to the judge, this question is foolish. When someone uses drugs, you will know. Their work will suffer, their behavior will change, their life will fall apart. But Anna? She works more than 3 people put together. If she's using drugs, then I am using wings to fly to work every morning. The courtroom erupted in laughter. Even the judge hid a tiny smile. But Paul wasn't laughing. He looked irritated, like a man losing control. He leaned in to whisper to his lawyer, and the lawyer's eyes tightened. They had not expected this. The lie was slipping through their fingers. The judge tapped her pen. Thank you, madam. You may step down. As Mrs. Aluko left the stand, she gave Anna a small nod, one filled with pride, support, and quiet strength. Anna inhaled deeply. She felt air fill her lungs in a way it hadn't since the court session began. But before she could settle, the judge turned her gaze to the other side. Mr. Okorie, she said, your lawyer has made serious claims. I would like to hear from you directly. The room shifted. Eyes turned back to the billionaire. Paul slowly rose to his feet. His steps toward the witness stand were smooth, calm, measured, like a man who believed he could talk his way out of anything. As he placed his right hand on the Bible, he shot a quick glance at Anna, a cold glance, one that said, "This is far from over." The clerk read the oath. Paul repeated it. When he finally sat down, the courtroom waited. The judge leaned forward. Mr. Okorie, she said, please tell this court why you believe Anna is unfit to raise your child. Paul lifted his eyes. His answer would change the direction of the entire case. Paul crossed one leg over the other and adjusted his cufflinks, as if he were preparing for a television interview, not a courtroom battle that could break a family apart. He cleared his throat. My lord, Mima, he began, voice smooth and calm. I only want what is best for my son. Anna felt her stomach twist. He continued, I have watched from a distance as Anna struggled to take care of Kamsi. She is a good person, but good is not enough. A child needs stability. A child needs structure. A child needs a future. And I, as his father, can provide all of that. The courtroom was silent. Paul folded his hands neatly on the stand. Anna lives in a small apartment. She works late into the night. She barely has time for him. And, yes, I believe she is influenced by harmful substances. Anna flinched. There it was again. The lie. He said it so casually, so confidently, like someone ordering breakfast. Her lawyer stood sharply. Objection, my lord. This claim has already been proven false. The judge raised a hand. I will decide that after hearing his explanation. Continue, Mr. Okorie. Paul nodded politely, like a man in complete control. I saw it with my own eyes, he said. Gasps echoed around the room. Anna's heart dropped. What was he about to invent? Paul leaned forward. There was a night 7 years ago when I went to see her. She didn't know I was coming. I walked into her apartment and found strange pills on her table and a bottle I couldn't identify. She was acting strange, shaky, emotional. His words floated slowly, meaningfully. I knew then that she struggled with something she has clearly hidden very well. Anna's jaw trembled. She remembered that night. She remembered exactly what was on the table. Prenatal vitamins. Only that. Her hands shook as she whispered to her lawyer. He's lying. He knows he's lying. Those were pregnancy vitamins. Her lawyer squeezed her hand gently. It will be okay. Just breathe. But inside Anna, something was breaking open. Anger, sadness, fear, all mixing together like a storm. She had never known a lie could feel this violent. Paul continued with cool confidence. I did not take action then because I still believed she could grow out of it. I hoped she would get better. But when I recently visited her area, unannounced, I saw her through the window, restless, pacing. It reminded me of that night all over again. He sighed softly, a well-practiced gesture. My lord, I am not here to destroy her. I am here to save my son. A woman sitting behind Anna whispered to her friend, Ah, this man is wicked. Another whispered, Why lie like this? What did she do to him? But Paul's lawyers looked pleased. They had expected this effect. Confidence, calmness, sincere tone. It was the perfect performance. Anna felt herself sinking. No matter what she did, Paul kept twisting the truth, making small things look big, turning innocence into suspicion. He knew how to bend a story until people started to doubt what was real. The judge scribbled notes, her face unreadable. This court will hear from the neighbor mentioned earlier, she said. Call the witness. The bailiff opened the door. Anna stiffened when she saw who walked in. A man in his late 30s, hair uncombed, shirt wrinkled, eyes darting around the room. Mr. Fye, her former neighbor, the neighbor who constantly borrowed money, the neighbor Paul once gave cash to help with rent, the neighbor who suddenly stopped speaking to her afterward. Her heart sank. He took the stand, hands twitching nervously. Paul's lawyer approached with slow confidence. Mr. Fye, do you know the defendant, Anna Nwokolo? Yes, he said immediately. I lived next door to her for 2 years. And did you ever witness her behaving strangely? He swallowed. Yes, sir. Anna felt like the floor beneath her was falling apart. What kind of strange behavior? The lawyer pressed. She would cry at night sometimes, and she always looked tired, like she couldn't focus, and sometimes she would sit outside alone. One time I saw her holding her head like something was wrong. The lawyer nodded like this was proof. And did you ever see anything that suggested she might use harmful substances? A terrible pause. Then, yes, sir. Anna covered her mouth. A small sob slipped out. Her lawyer stood instantly. My lord, this is fabricated. This witness has a history of begging for money and could easily have been influenced. Paul's lawyer cut him off. Let the witness speak. The judge motioned for the man to continue. Mr. Fay nodded nervously. One day I saw her carrying a small bottle. She went inside before I could see what it was. That's all? Anna's lawyer asked, frustrated. Before the judge could respond, something unexpected happened. Campsey suddenly stood up. He pulled his hand away from Anna's, stepped into the aisle, and faced the witness. The entire courtroom turned. The judge blinked. Little boy, what are you doing? Campsey pointed at the neighbor. That man is lying. Gasps filled the room. Even Paul froze. Campsey's small chest rose and fell quickly. He was scared, but he didn't back down. My mummy cries at night because she is tired, he said, voice shaking but loud. She works all night to make clothes. She doesn't take anything bad. She only uses medicine when she is sick. And that bottle he saw, that was the pink medicine the doctor gave me when I had cough. The courtroom fell silent. The neighbor looked down ashamed. Anna covered her face and sobbed quietly. The judge leaned back, studying the little boy with new eyes. Paul's expression tightened, jaw clenched, nostrils flaring just slightly. For the first time, he looked like a man who might lose. For a long moment, the courtroom stayed frozen, every eye fixed on the brave little boy standing alone in the aisle. Even the judge, a woman known for her firmness, softened her gaze. Campsey, she said gently, please return to your seat. Slowly he walked back, his small footsteps echoing across the room. Anna pulled him into her arms and held him tightly, her tears falling quietly on his shoulder. But across the courtroom, Paul Okorie wasn't moved. He was furious. He had spent years controlling every room he stepped into. Investors stepped aside for him. Reporters chased his words. Staff bowed. Even government officials picked their tone carefully around him. But here, in this courtroom, his 7-year-old son had shattered the neat picture he tried to paint, and Paul hated losing. His lawyer leaned close and whispered, "Sir, stay calm. We can still fix this." But Paul's jaw was tight. His eyes narrowed. Anna recognized that look, the same coldness she saw years ago when she first told him she was pregnant. The judge turned to the witness stand. "Mr. Fay, the child claims you are lying. Do you wish to change your statement?" The man swallowed hard. Sweat rolled down the side of his face. I... He couldn't finish. The judge sighed, unimpressed. "You are dismissed. This court does not accept unclear or unstable testimony." The neighbor stumbled down from the stand, avoiding Anna's eyes completely. Paul's lawyer stepped forward quickly. "My lord, we would like to call another witness." "There will be no more witnesses," the judge said firmly. "This case is already raising serious concerns." Paul's head snapped up. Concerns. The judge continued. "Mr. Okorie, you have accused this woman of drug use. You have attempted to use unclear testimony to support an unverified claim. You have provided no medical proof, no evidence, and no reliable witness. This is troubling." Whispers rose suddenly. "He's in trouble. So all that money didn't help him. Billionaire or not, he can't lie in court." Paul clenched his fists under the table. His face remained calm, but his body language betrayed him. His leg twitched, his fingers tapped rapidly, his jaw tightened every few seconds. The judge turned her eyes to Anna. "Miss Nwokolo, this court acknowledges your clean medical test and your employer's strong testimony. However, I am concerned about one thing." Anna wiped her tears. "Yes, my lord. You work long hours. You appear to be carrying far more weight than one person should. I worry about burnout and about the effect it could have on the child." Anna lowered her head. "I understand, my lord." She did not lie. She had been stretched thin. She survived on little sleep. She often pushed herself harder than her body could bear. But she did it for love, not out of recklessness. "My lord," her lawyer said, "we can arrange for support. Daycare, assistance, community help. Anna has never failed her child." The judge nodded thoughtfully. "This court will consider all factors." A tense silence fell again. Finally, the judge looked at Paul. "Mr. Okorie, please step back into the witness stand." Paul returned with confident steps, but his eyes were colder now, sharper, like a man preparing for a final attack. The judge leaned forward. "Mr. Okorie, I want to ask you something directly." Paul lifted his chin. "Yes, my lord?" "When did you last visit your son? Not from afar, not with binoculars or assumptions, but truly visit him. Speak to him. Hold him. Spend time with him. When did that last happen?" Paul didn't blink. "This question is irrelevant," his lawyer began. "It is very relevant," the judge snapped. "Answer the question." Paul inhaled slowly. "The last time I visited them was 7 years ago." Gas filled the room. 7 years? Not even once? Anna looked down, tears silently flowing. She had hoped he would at least say something human, some excuse, some reason that explained why he stayed away. But his answer was as empty as the 7 years he left behind. The judge interlocked her fingers. "So you are telling this court that you did not visit your child from the time he was born until now?" "Yes," Paul replied, voice firm and emotionless. "Did you support him financially?" No." "Did you call?" "No." "Did you send any message? Any birthday card? Any gift?" "No." The judge paused, her face slowly deepening with disappointment. "Yet you stand here today, accusing the mother who raised him alone of being unfit?" Paul didn't answer. The judge's voice hardened. "Mr. Okorie, this sounds less like concern for your son and more like a desire for control." A visible tremor passed through Paul's jaw. The courtroom atmosphere shifted. People sat up. Even reporters stopped writing and listened harder. Paul opened his mouth to speak, but the judge cut him off. "And one more question," she said. Her eyebrows rose slightly. "Why now?" Paul blinked. Why are you suddenly fighting for custody after 7 years of complete absence? He hesitated. The courtroom waited. Anna waited, and for the first time since the case began, Paul could not find the right words. A bead of sweat rolled down his temple. Then, just when the judge leaned forward, expecting an answer, someone burst into the courtroom. A woman in dark sunglasses, a woman holding a file, a woman who looked like she had come to start a war. "Your Lordship," she announced loudly, "I have evidence the court needs to see." The entire room gasped. Paul's face drained of color. Anna turned slowly and froze. She knew that woman very well, because she was the one person who knew Paul's darkest secret. The woman in sunglasses strode into the courtroom like someone who had waited years for this moment. Her heels clicked loudly across the floor, turning every eye toward her. Paul shifted uneasily. His mask, the calm, controlled billionaire, began to crack. Anna recognized the woman at once. Kioma, Paul's former personal assistant, the only person who knew what truly happened years ago. The bailiff stepped forward. "Madam, identify yourself." She removed her sunglasses slowly, revealing sharp eyes filled with determination. "My name is Kioma Abuba," she said, "and I have information about Mr. Paul Okorie that this court needs to hear." Paul stood abruptly. "My lord, this woman is not relevant." The judge slammed her gavel. "Sit down, Mr. Okorie. You do not control who this court listens to." Paul froze. Kioma nodded respectfully at the judge and took the witness stand. She placed a thick file on the table. The judge leaned forward. "Proceed." Kioma lifted the first page. "My lord, I worked closely with Mr. Okorie for 4 years. During that time, I handled his schedules, his phone records, and many confidential documents. What I bring today concerns his sudden interest in gaining custody of a child he ignored for 7 years." The courtroom was silent. Even the reporters looked stunned. Kioma went on. "Paul did not come here for love or because he cares for the child. He came because of this." She lifted a contract sealed with the name of a powerful international investor. "Okorie Industries is finalizing a deal with Garrison International," she explained. "They require their partners to have strong family values. They prefer investors to appear as loving, responsible parents." She held up another document. "This is an email Paul wrote to his legal team 6 months ago. In it, he says, and I quote, 'I don't care about that girl or the child. I need custody for the deal. Make Anna look unfit so I can get the boy for a few months until the contract is signed.'" Gasps exploded around the courtroom. Anna's hand flew to her mouth. Paul sank slowly into his chair, but Kioma wasn't done. "There is also this," she said, lifting one last document. "Hospital records." Paul's eyes widened in panic. "These records show that the only person who ever used harmful drugs was—" "Stop!" Paul shouted. The courtroom jumped. For the first time, Paul lost control in public. He wasn't calm. He wasn't confident. His voice cracked with fear. But Kioma finished her sentence anyway. "Paul himself." The room erupted. People gasped. Some shouted. The judge banged her gavel repeatedly. "Order! Order in this court!" Paul covered his face with his hands. His lawyers stared at him, stunned and speechless. Anna felt her knees weaken. She had known Paul was controlling, selfish, even cruel. But she never expected this. The judge adjusted her glasses, eyes blazing. "Mr. Okorie," she said, "you accused the mother of being unfit based on lies. You ignored your child for 7 years. You attempted to manipulate this court for business gain. And you hid your own history of harmful substance use." Paul lifted his head slowly, eyes red with embarrassment. "My lord, please, I can explain." "There is nothing to explain," the judge snapped. "This court has seen enough." She picked up her pen and signed a document with firm strokes. "Custody will remain with Miss Anna Nwokolo. Full custody, effective immediately." Anna covered her face and sobbed. Kamsi hugged her tightly, burying his face in her chest. But the judge wasn't done. She turned to Paul. "You, Mr. Okorie, will have supervised visitation rights. You must undergo counseling and substance treatment before this court will ever consider unsupervised visitation. And you will pay monthly child support as required by law." Paul's shoulders slumped. His empire could not save him now. The judge stood. This hearing is concluded. Her gavel struck the wood one final time, but the real ending was yet to come. After the courtroom. A few hours later, Anna stepped outside with Kamsi in her arms. The sun was warm. The air smelled fresh. For the first time in years, she could breathe freely. Reporters rushed toward her, asking questions. She ignored them. She only cared about the little boy in her arms, the boy who had spoken the truth when it mattered most. As they walked toward the gate, someone called Anna's name. She turned. It was Paul. He wasn't wearing confidence anymore. He wasn't hiding behind wealth. He wasn't surrounded by cameras or fans. He was just a broken man standing alone. "Anna," he said, voice quiet and shaky. I'm sorry." She looked at him for a long moment, not with anger, not with pity, not with love, but with the calm strength of someone who survived everything. "I forgive you," she said softly, "but I won't let you hurt us again." Paul nodded, tears filling his eyes. "I want to change," he whispered. "I want to be a father, if you'll let me try." Anna took a deep breath. "Then start by becoming a better man." Paul nodded slowly, and for the first time, he looked truly human. The lesson. As Anna walked away holding Kamsi's hand, she realized something powerful. Betrayal may break a heart, but truth can heal it. And a mother's love, real, honest love, cannot be defeated. She didn't look back. She didn't need to. Her future was finally opening. Bright, peaceful, safe. And this time, she would walk into it with her head held high. Thanks for watching. What's your view about this story? Where are you watching from? Do well to let us know in the comments below. And don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more interesting stories. Stay blessed.